Hey, what's going on, YouTube? How you guys doing today? I hope you're doing well. This is your guy, DeMarcus. We're here for the midday afternoon motivational mix for Monday. Put Monday in there. Monday's important because Monday's a big deal. You know, this is what starts out your. A lot of people think that the work week starts today, so why not give you some good motivation for today to go into it? So, waiting for our Facebookers to come online. They're about to come on here in a very quick second, and now they're here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. This is your Monday motivational mix. And I'm your guy, DeMarcus, here to do that. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So I want to give you guys an example. You ladies, I want to give you an example because obviously it's a pretty big deal of what we're talking about today. So I want you to pretend like you decide one day, you're like, you know what? I want to run a 5K. I've done that before. I just decided I want to run a 5K. In the 5K, obviously, it's not a race. Sometimes there are races where you have to race for time or you can choose to race for time. Sometimes it's just about the completion. When I did mine, it was just about the completion aspect. I wanted to live. Now, I wanted to make it through, not live. Actually, I wanted to live through it too. That's another thing because I had the breathing problems anyways. And so you decide you want to race. You decide that's a big deal for you. And so you have two options. One, you can just go out there and run the race. I've done that before. Usually that's what I do when I do my 5Ks. Or you can train for the race to become, to get stronger, to get better, to make sure that you finish the race without being dead. So then you go to the race. Now we're at the race now. The race has started, and you're running through, and the finish line's at the end. You know, oh my goodness, you're about to make it. You throw those hands back and cross the finish line. Yeah! And you put your hands up in victory. You win. Blah blah blah. And then they give you one of these good old medals here. This is one of my medals, Spartan Race medals. They give you one of these medals. They're like, oh yeah, there you go, you won, hooray! And then it's over, right? Wrong. See, one of the things I think is the biggest issue that I think that today's society doesn't realize is that I think we focus too much on the end result. The end result is amazing. The end result is fantastic. We know where we want to go. You've got to set that goal. But it's the journey in between that's going to determine how well that end result happens. Now, I gave you, in this particular situation, I gave you two options. I said we could sit down, kind of hang out, stay on the couch, just kind of go and do the race and maybe make it to the end or get carted off in a 911 ambulance little cart, or we can go train. And it's that beginning part that, one, we have to make a decision, and two, once we start that training, we start training to get to the next level. We start training to become a better version. We start training so that the next time that we are on that course, we are not the same person that we started with. Now, for some reason, some people think that just because we don't go out and work, or we don't go out and work out, or we don't go out and do this, it doesn't mean that you're going to be the same person. As a matter of fact, you are changing every single day. You will never be any younger than you are right now. Your body will never be, as good as it is right now. I take that back because my body's changing, and a lot of people, they're going through changes, but you'll never be any younger. And you're getting slowly closer to death. It's inevitable for all of us. It's one of the things that will happen. But it's that journey, once we set that goal, that is more important than us crossing the finish line. The problem is that if you don't have a strong journey in between, then you're not going to cross the finish line. Or you might cross the finish line just a little too late and the opportunity is no longer there, where they're no longer handing out medals, where they're no longer even accepting people to finish. I've been on that too, where they pretty much started packing up everything. Now, you did finish, which is great, but could you have done better had you trained a little harder or worked a little harder in the middle? Do you work harder at the beginning or at the end or at the middle? So here's my quick story on that, the journey, right? So I made the decision, consciously made the decision, physically made the decision, and verbally spoke out the decision to change my eating habits and to lose some weight, and to work with this guy. He's I think he's like a 10-time Mr. World, Mr. Universe. He's a boss. He's got so many more titles. So I made the decision to work with him and follow his meal plan. Now, when I'm on his meal plan, he's got some very strict guidelines of things that we can eat. Now, don't get me wrong, I can still eat. I'm not hungry, but there's very strict guidelines. And then me, of course, being me, I was like, well, what about, can I eat this? Can I try this? Can I do this? Because I like to push the envelope. And he did a video, and his video said, stop. And it was multiple people in the group, but I took it this way. He said, stop trying to change it. And, I've given you the ingredients for being a champion. So why are you trying to change that? And I thought to myself, like, you know what? Why am I trying to change this? I paid him to be in this program and not the other way around. So why am I giving myself advice on what I think I should do when I'm leaning to my own understanding? I can't do that. I can't lean to my own understanding and expect to get positive results. So when I started his program and decided to get on it wholeheartedly, and I changed all my eating habits, in the first week I lost 7.6 pounds, right? But then the second week, I went in there, I decided, you know what, well, let me add this in because I want this. And let me add this in, I'll just find a healthy way to do this. And by doing that, and then also by limiting the amount of exercise I was doing, on the other hand, I also, so I took down the exercise piece, which I was doing the first week. I took down the food piece, which I did the first week, and my gain or my loss was not as great. So what does it tell you? Well, it tells you that we focus too much on the start and not continuing through the middle. And we try to change the middle to make it work for us and justify why our thoughts on the middle should be okay, but they're not okay. Because if they were okay, we wouldn't need to be in the situation where we need to train. People who are champions focus on all three aspects of that journey. If you want to go to a weightlifting, or let's say you, for example, you make the decision, we'll start it off. You make a decision to become a power lifter and be in a powerlifter competition. Then, on the other hand, you don't work out and you go to the powerlifting competition. You will not be successful. I'm not even saying you may. I'm saying you will not, because there's other people who made the decision, started training as hard as they can, because this part right here is the longest piece, and then they finish with medals. You can't forget that middle piece. And I'm not trying to flick anybody else, so please understand that's not what I'm doing. But don't just start and hope to finish. Enjoy the middle. Because if you enjoy the middle and that becomes a part of you, then now what you've done is you've harnessed the piece of you that's going to actually grow you to the next level. I want to climb stairs, but I'm focusing on the top stairs. Without the steps that I take in the middle to get to the top stairs, I will always be on the bottom. That's all I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you. Remember, you can do anything you choose, but just don't focus on the end result too much to where you forget the middle is just as important. You've got to lift. If you want to be a weightlifter, you got to lift hard. If you want to be successful at work, you got to work at your work. You got to do extra work outside of what is called to be. And as soon as you're able to do that and apply that to you, no one can stop you. Because what you're also learning in here, in that middle part, is you're learning not only dedication, but you're learning to have drive and not letting drive stop you. Because sometimes, I can tell you right now, being in the United States, being in the world that we live in, especially when it starts getting cold, we have a lazy society. And the problem is that people make excuses, and not only do they make excuses, they find friends who allow them to keep their excuses. So, what do? Well, you either have to upgrade yourself and bring your friends with you, or dismiss yourself from your friends and keep going anyway. Success is a lonely road. You will figure that out until you find somebody who's ready to run with you. And what you'll do is you'll figure out when they do, you're magnetizing and just completely powering up yourself to a whole nother level you never thought was even possible. And that's all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you being here today. Remember, I believe and I love in each and every single one of you. And don't take the journey for granted, because the journey is where the true power hits. I wonder if that poster's up. I have a poster in my room, or not my room, my kitchen now, about Muhammad Ali talking about he hated training. But it was, he has to train now as hard as he can, and he can live forever as a champion. So I want you to think about this. Do you choose to work hard now and live as a champion for the rest of your life? Or do you choose to make excuses now and live in the now and end up in the same place you are right now in the future? That's all I have. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you. You have a blessed day. Until tomorrow, happy Monday. Oh no.